Ukrainian Village might be the base for many Ukrainian Chicagoans, but another part of the city boasts a significant population as well. The O'Hare area, yes, it is a neighborhood as well, sits just east of the namesake airport, running along Cumberland Avenue between Foster and Lawrence. It abuts the municipalities of Harwood Heights and Norridge and is a crucial center for Ukrainian American life, commerce, and culture. Paris Schutz and producer Acacia Hernandez spent the day in O'Hare getting a sense of how the community is trying to assist the war effort back home. And Paris joins us again just outside of one of the most iconic churches in the country. Paris.
That's right, Brandis. We're right outside St. Joseph the Betrothed Ukrainian Catholic Church, which is a mecca for Ukrainian Catholics from all over the region who flock here for service. It was built in 1975 as part of the Eastern Christian tradition of churches, very architecturally striking, and a hub here on Cumberland Avenue for the O'Hare community area, which, as you mentioned, is home to a significant population of Ukrainian Americans. Obviously, this church is playing an outsized role in residents' lives right now, holding daily liturgies and prayer services around the clock for friends and family back home. Senior pastor Father Mikola tells me that the parish is arranging food and humanitarian drives, but also sending things back like body armor. And he says he's needed to personally counsel a lot of parishioners, but oftentimes runs out of words to say because of the horrific nature of the situation back in Ukraine. But this week does offer some comfort for all Catholics, but Ukrainian Catholics as well. It, of course, is the beginning of Lent, the holiest season in the Christian calendar. Father Mikola says his parishioners can take solace in the fact that in Catholic scripture, this was the time of Jesus' suffering.
There is a crucifixion going on. There is a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of loneliness. There is a prayers that we can say, Lord, why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken me? At the same time, we know there has to be resurrection. There has to be a new day. We're waiting for that. We're waiting for peace and victory. This is the only way we can pray right now.
And right next door is the Self-Reliance Federal Credit Union, a lender that is a lifeline for Ukrainian Americans in good times and bad. And it plays an important role because recent immigrants might not speak English, they speak Ukrainian here, and they might have access to mortgages and other lending products that they couldn't get access to at more traditional banks. Now, Senior Manager Walter Toon says that this credit union has also helped organize fundraising that has sent direct money for war and humanitarian efforts in Ukraine.
We've waived all wire transfer fees for any wire transfers to Ukraine. We've made it easier for our members who choose to send monies to help their relatives and for humanitarian aid in Ukraine to do so. We've also created a Self-Reliance Foundation fund. That's a 501c3 fund for people to donate monies to, and those monies will be directed through vetted organizations to help for humanitarian assistance to the people of Ukraine.
Different assistance efforts all over the neighborhood, and employees here at the credit union all have family in Ukraine. They are on edge, as every other Ukrainian American is. It's not just the stories of valiant defense efforts that get back home, but the stories of the bombing and the civilian casualties. Now, mortgage officer Tetiana Novikova says she does not sleep at night. Her elderly, infirm parents are in Western Ukraine and they can't move, so she says she stays up all night, every night, monitoring the situation.
They're sick and they cannot move anywhere without help. And I'm always on the phone, always online. Any news, when we have a day, they have a night. Any news, I'm calling them. If it's air alarm or something, I just wake them up because they're sleeping.
And this is all part of the fabric of the O'Hare community area, an oft-forgotten residential and business corridor west of O'Hare, characterized by bungalows and thousands of apartment units. It's a blue-collar population made up of a lot of city workers, and many, many, many languages are spoken in this area, not just Ukrainian, but Polish, Hispanic, everything. And it's home to county forest preserve areas like Schiller Woods, buttressed, as you mentioned, by communities like Harwood Heights, and as you can hear, very close to O'Hare Airport. Now, 38th Ward Alderman Nick Spazzato represents the area and says he believes Chicago should let in Ukrainian relatives and refugees. He's skeptical, though, that the city has enough shelter space for them. Instead, he is proposing the city assist families in taking Ukrainian refugees in.
My answer would be asking the Ukrainian people to adopt some of these families and take them in, and then maybe we could compensate them. So if you know, Mary and John live here and they're Ukrainian and they speak the language and they could take in a mom and 2 kids or something, you know, we could compensate them. You know, we could, instead of cash assistance for people that, you know, we're giving away, let's give cash assistance to, you know, help these people out and help people that want to help these people.
And we'll have the very latest on what's going on the ground in Ukraine from area Congressman Mike Quigley, who chairs the Congressional Ukraine Caucus, and more on efforts to welcome refugees. But now, Brandis, we toss it back to you.
Okay, Paris, thank you. We'll see you in a bit.